Hey everyone, this is Jono from Veracity with another video in my video series. This one continuing on assessments and quizzes and other interactions in xAPI. This one is on the learner response format, and it's really part 2 of this topic. It was getting a bit long, and I listened to the last video, and I must have said that 100 times, but I do try to keep these short. So we're going to finish up that video. I'm going to start, and I'm going to go very briefly through some things that we covered in the last video, just to cover some context. But if you want those at a more reasonable speed, please go to last week's video, and even the one before that kind of sets up the whole topic. And we'll still have several other videos. So to recap, this one is with the different CMI interaction types. There are different response types. So if it's a true-false question, it has a different learner response than a multiple choice question, than a fill-in question. The acceptable kind of responses can change. So again, this is the object of a statement, and we know it is a CMI interaction because the type of the object there under the definition says it's a CMI interaction. When we have things that are CMI interaction, we add another attribute, interaction type, and it has a set of potential values. This one is true false. So basically what this is saying is that the thing that the actor is interacting with is a CMI interaction of type true false. In other words, a true false question. These are all the types and the acceptable format for the learner response changes, kind of as I said before, based on this type. So a true-false response, when you're tracking the learner's choice in a true-false question, looks different and has a different format than a multiple choice question, for example. What do I mean by learner response? Again, just reviewing this, we're talking about the result response part of a statement. That's this section down here, result response. And in this case, the value is true. So it's very likely from a true false question. All right. So the last time we went through, if I go back a screen, we went through true, false, and choice. And now we're going to try to get through these other types here today. So let's start with a fill-in question. You can see here that our interaction type is set to fill-in. And let me grab our highlighter. Interaction type set to fill-in. That's how we know it's a fill-in. And our example result response is a big, long string text. This might be just an answer that they type in a single text box or something like that. But the idea is it is just some text that the user submits, not a list of choices or anything like that. Right along with that, let's look at long fill-in, and you'll see this is very, very similar here. We've got now interaction type set to long fill-in, and here we've got a text response. I did leave out that you could have multiple that are delimited by the delimiter character. You don't see that so often. Usually you just see a big string response. But anyway, you'll notice that the long fill-in type is very similar to what we just looked at, just the fill-in type. And here I've just made some longer text. What is the difference between these two? Right now, it's pretty arbitrary. These came from SCORM, and the SCORM had what was called smallest permitted maximums. What's the smallest maximum that you could have for this value? And fill-in and long fill-in had a set of characters that had to be supported, a number of characters that you had to support. Not so in xAPI. So these can be used interchangeably. Your organization may choose to use fill-in for if you have a single text box, and long fill-in if you're using a more comment style box where there could be many lines of text. And here I just kind of pointed out that this is a little bit of a longer answer, but that line is fuzzy. It's not defined in the specification. Okay. Matching. So this is where we have pairs of things that are matched together, kind of a source and a target. So our format is a list of these pairs. So what thing matches to what other thing, and those pairs are delimited via our delimiter character that we've used before. So basically we have a value, then this delimiter, and then some other value, and that means X matches to Y. Then we have this delimiter, and then we have another set of those, A, period, B. So now we're saying X matches to Y, and A matches to B delimited by this. So anyway, let's take a look at an example of what that looks like. All right, here we have a matching question, and this one's asking about different types of animals, it looks. And we've got, bear match delimiter matches to omnivore, mountain lion matches to carnivore, and cow matches to herbivore. And each one of those pairs, this pair, this pair, this pair and this pair are all delimited from each other by this 3-character set. So I know that got a bit messy. Let me clear that out, and we'll show you again. So that delimits the first pair, these two, and this delimits this pair, and this is the last pair. So bear omnivore, mountain lion carnivore, cow herbivore, separated by our delimiters, and this is the thing that delimits the matches. Okay, moving on to our next type. Performance type. So here we have basically a set of steps and step IDs and responses that are delimited via the special delimiter character. So it's going to look very similar to what we had for matching, but sort of the intent of what they're used for is a little bit different. So here, this might be a performance simulation type question where we're, doing the checking the tire pressure or maintaining a car or something like that. So here we have a couple different steps. Step 1, check the tire pressure, 100. So in this case, we did the numeric answer. Next one, check the oil. That's 90. Set the rear view mirror position to, I guess before you're going to drive it. They didn't do that, so 0. Looks like our lion got in there. You can ignore that. That was a copy and paste error. So anyway, you get the idea. These are a step ID. That's our step ID. And then we have our second part of that, which is, in this case, a number, and we're using that to indicate the level of success. This could be another string or something that is meaningful to you, but I've kind of done it as, a percentage success of the performance step. All right, sequencing question. This is just a sequence of things delimited by, again, our delimiter character. You can see we have a repeating theme here, like the main delimiter is these characters with a comma. And if there are pairs that you're delimiting, they're delimited by the thing with the period instead of the comma. Anyway, so our result response here, it's a sequence of things. Looks to me to be maybe some software lifecycle question on how sequence the different parts of a software lifecycle. First, we have derive requirements, then design solution, then implement the solution, then test the solution, all delimited by the delimiter. And again, this is the user's response. Looks to me like they got it right, but maybe some users put test the solution first. That would be an incorrect answer. But anyway, this is how you represent the learner's response to a sequencing question. All right, Likert. Likert is basically a single ID. For example, strongly agree or disagree, etc. Basically, it's the single value that they picked from your Likert array. And next one is numeric. So this is what it sounds like. It's a number answer, but it can also indicate a range. So it can be a minimum and a maximum, or just a minimum and no maximum, or just a maximum and no minimum, or just a specific number. So the way we do that is, let me go to the examples. Here we go. All right, so what this is saying, this top one, is the exact response is 55. I will note that, maybe a more advanced topic, but the response value is a string. So this will be stored as a string in the system. And depending on how your system, including the Veracity system, works, if you want to do, maximum of or average of, you're dealing with a string. So you have to do some conversion there. And be careful when you're doing that, because over hundreds of millions of data sets, conversions of types can be expensive computationally. Anyway, so that's how you say the answer that the student submitted was 55. In this case, the range they submitted was between 0 and 100. If they left off the 100 and it was just 0 in this character, that would be they picked 0 as the minimum and no top. And you could do the opposite of that as well, where you just have the delimiter in the 100 and no 0. And there you're basically saying the maximum is 100. There's no minimum. That can go this way forever. All right. Turn off that guy. All right, the other question type. So other is a catch-all. So we've gone through a bunch. True, false, multiple choice, matching, performance, sequencing, Likert, fill-in, long fill-in, and I'm sure I've missed some. But what if you have another type of question, like, I don't know, something that's like a hotspot on an image or something like that they have to pick? There's always this other type, and basically any value, any format is available in the response string, whatever is meaningful to you. So I've kind of made up one here where I said, this is the SP1 is the thing that they picked, and it had a particular XY coordinate in the image, and there was a 100, they were 100 pixels outside of that range or something. Again, I'm making it up as if this were a hotspot question, but you get the idea. You have control over the response format and what the user responses look like, so you're not bound by the rules of those other types. Okay, so that gets us through all of the interactions type. I mentioned in the last video, and probably the one before that, this part was just specifically on what the learner response, like how do you track Joe student's answer to a true-false question. But there's even more that we can send in a statement. For example, if it's a multiple choice question, what were all the choices? Which was the correct choice? There's a lot that you can do, and we're going to cover that stuff in upcoming videos. All right, we're going to call it today. If you like this video, please subscribe or click that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.